Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm in the kitchen and I'm going to bake one of my favorite things to do, and I'm going to do a carrot cake, a very easy carrot cake loaf. So we are going to show you, I'm saying we because Linda is behind the camera. She's my DOP for the day. So you'll need all-purpose flour. I used X all-purpose flour. You'll need cinnamon, ground cinnamon. You'll need some nutmeg. You'll need 2 types of sugar. So here I have castor sugar, white castor sugar, and you'll need. Normally I use brown sugar, but I forgot to buy brown sugar. So I'm going to use kawaida sugar, which will give it has a bit of brown. And you'll need 3 to 4 grated carrots. And of course, I'm using 2 eggs and half a cup of sunflower oil. This, I have the cream cheese. This we'll use for the frosting, so this we'll do a bit later. So yeah, that's what you need. In the flour, I forgot to mention, I also added bicarbonate of soda. Don't worry about the amount of the ingredients. I'll give you the exact amount for the ingredients on the description box, and for the full recipe I'll put a link to the full recipe that will, if you want to see the full recipe, you can find it on my blog. So anyway, so let's get started. So you'll mix all the ingredients. So that's the flour, spices, the sugars in a bowl. We won't put the carrots just yet. So you mix the flour, bicarb or baking soda. Some people call it baking soda. The 2 types of sugars, the cinnamon and the nutmeg. Just give it a good mixing. You don't need the good thing about this this recipe is that you don't even need a machine, a stand mixer or a hand whisk. It's all one bowl and you can mix it using a spatula. If you don't even have a spatula, imagine you can even do it with a mwiko, a wooden spoon. For those who don't know what a mwiko is, a wooden spoon. So yeah, so just make sure, sugar sometimes tends to have big lumpy chunks. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to crush them so that everything is nicely mixed. So once I've mixed that, as you can see, it's nicely mixed. Now I'll add the grated carrots. I'll just put everything at the same time. I have a feeling this is a bit much for my cake, but so I'll just put, let's assume that is 2 large carrots. I've just put in there. Again, just mix it. Like I told you, this is such an easy recipe. It's one bowl, so just make sure the flour coats the grated carrots properly. And by the way, in the meantime, before I started, I did grease and flour my loaf tin. That's what I'm going to use. Just a kawaida loaf tin. It's like a kilo of bread or something. So I just greased it with Blue Band, and then I dusted it with flour. So that's ready. I always like to start with preparing my tin before I start baking. It just makes the flow of work much easier. So yeah, so there it is. It smells really, really nice. You can really smell the spices coming through. I'm just trying to break because carrot tends to huddle together, so I'm just trying to break whatever is huddling together. And yeah, that's it for the mixing of the carrots. And now what I'll do, I have 2 eggs, 2 medium-sized eggs, and I'll add them one at a time. So do not roll and break. Be very careful of shells. You just mix it. Sometimes I actually find it easier to use a wooden spoon than a spatula, because the spatula has a soft bit. The bit at the end, this bit here. My hands are clean, don't judge me. I'm touching it, my hands are clean. Don't start writing comments, unnecessary comments. So anyway, so I prefer, because the wooden spoon will be firmer, so it doesn't, I don't need to use too much force. But with a spatula, anyway, you can do what you want. I just prefer, it's Linda who set up for me, so that's why she gave me a spatula. Then I'll add the second egg. And then I'm just rinsing my hands. Then I continue mixing it. You just want to mix until everything is well incorporated before we add our last ingredient, which will be the vegetable oil. I always use, and when I say always, I really mean it. I always use, when I'm baking anything that calls for oil instead of butter, I always use sunflower oil, because it's unscented. Make sure you're using something unscented, and it doesn't have a strong flavor compared to other oils like olive oil or like coconut oil. Some coconut oils tend to have like a coconut flavor. Even if it's unscented, sometimes they still have a coconutty flavor, and which will just, imagine having cake and then you taste coconut and you are going for like a carrot cake or a chocolate cake. It's just weird. Chocolate cake might work because of, what's that chocolate that has coconut? Bounty. Chocolate works with coconut. I don't know about vanilla cake with coconut oil, but anyway, so I always go for sunflower oil. As sunflower, it has a subtle taste, flavor, it's unscented, and it just works. It just works perfectly for cake. So if Linda would like to come closer to just show you the texture of my butter before I add the oil. This is how it should look. That's how it should look. Now I'm just going to add my oil. I'll save a bit because it looks like it's going to be a bit much. And then now I'll just incorporate it. This can be sometimes very tricky because the oil doesn't want to mix with your butter, but just keep at it. At some point it will mix. And the advantage of using oil in bakes is that your bakes just tend to be more moist for longer, even when you put them in the fridge. You know, when you use butter, sometimes cakes or breads or buns, whatever you use with butter, they tend to dry up after a while. With oil, they actually keep longer. I don't use oil in all my bakes, obviously, but carrot cake, things like, I've actually baked lemon bread, blueberry bread. Like when I do cake loaves, I tend to use more oil. Just a preference, it's not a must. So there you can see my butter is coming together well. I don't want to overmix it, and make sure you're folding. Do not start doing madogodanyo to it, like mixing it too hard. And you see everything is well incorporated, and you have a tendency of wanting to continue mixing it, but you have to resist that urge so that it doesn't overmix. Everything is well distributed. You see there's carrots, bits of carrot a bit everywhere, and so stop at that. The oil is well mixed in with everything else. You can see the little specks, the little brown specks of, going to try and focus. That's the spices we used. I use cinnamon and nutmeg. You can use You can add ginger powder if you want. You can add, if you have allspice, you can use allspice instead of using all these separately. But yeah, any spice, you can put cardamom if you want. But I only had cinnamon and nutmeg, and I used just the kawaida tropical heat and nutmeg. So yeah, now that is done. Now pour my butter in my prepared tin, and then I forgot to mention that we had already preheated the oven at 180. Preheat your oven at 180. We are going to bake this cake at 180 for about 40 to 50 minutes. But of course that depends with your oven, because all ovens are not the same. So you just want to keep your eye on it. Check for the doneness at around 40 minutes. Just insert a fork or a knife inside the center of the cake, and if it comes out clean, you know it's done. If not, then just let it bake for a few more minutes and then it should be done. So yeah, so that's my butter in my prepared tin, and now I'm just going to put it in the oven. And there we have it. So it's going to stay in there for 180 for 40 to 50 minutes. I'll check it at the 40th minute when it's done, and then we'll go on to frosting it. You don't have to frost it. This is a preference if you want to frost it. I like to frost. I like carrot cake with cream cheese frosting. So I'm just going to make a very simple, like I'll eyeball the ingredients. A very simple frosting with just cream cheese. I'm using, this is a brand I don't know. It's the only thing I found. Normally I would use Philadelphia cream cheese, but I found Ala. I've tasted it. It's okay. It's not frilly, but it's okay. So I'm going to use some of that and just some plain icing sugar, mix them together, and then I'll just spread it roughly on top of the cake, and that will be it. So we'll see you when we are taking it out of the oven. My carrot cake is done. It didn't rise as much as I wanted, but it's okay. So I just put the taste is going to be the same, so the rice doesn't matter. I just added some cream cheese frosting, just cream cheese, the cream cheese that I showed you, a bit of icing sugar, and that was it. And so that's how it is, that's how it looks. We can't wait to taste it. We're going to cut it in a bit and taste it. We'll let you know what it is, but it smells really good. Okay, I've already taken a bite, but look at that. I can't see if it's in focus, I don't know, because Linda is still behind the camera. Is it in focus?
Yeah.
It's so good. So good, so fluffy. Sorry for the noise, we have neighbors. I think kids are coming from school. Nice and fluffy, as you can see. Really, really soft. The flavors. You taste the carrot, you taste the nutmeg, the cinnamon. Then the cream cheese adds a nice tang to it. Seriously, you have to make this. It's really, really good. Linda tasted it. Linda, what did you think?
It's very nice. Very,
really
very
nice. And like as you saw. But yeah. So simple to make. One bowl, hata vyombo, hakuna hata kitu ya kuosha. Basically, you just wash the spatula, the baking tin, and that's it. And the bowl that you use to mix everything. That's it. So it's almost foolproof. So if you're a beginner baker, if you want to try baking for the first time, this is one of the recipes that I would advise you to go for. There you are, guys. Thank you very much. I'll continue enjoying my cake. And don't forget to share this with any carrot cake lovers or anyone who wants to try baking. Leave a comment. If you try it, leave a comment. Let us know what you thought. and all that good stuff. Share, subscribe. Yeah, subscribe, because if you don't subscribe, like seriously, how are you going to get more recipes? Subscribe, like, share, kadhalika. Mimi nimeenda kuenjoy cake. By the way guys, I forgot to tell you something, a tip. I know it will sound weird, but believe me, trust me, try it. This cake, keep it in the fridge, like resist the temptation to eat it the same day. Keep it in the fridge. After frosting, keep it in the fridge and eat it the following day. Eat it the next day and it's going to be much, much better. It's really good as it is, but try this tip. Keep it in the fridge overnight, have it the following day. All the flavors will have marinated. It will be absolutely bomb.